Started off working at my mom's house, but I'm still stuck inside my mom's house. Dreaming about 10 bands when I walk it out. Then I wake up, boy, what you talking about? You ain't never gonna catch me slipping. Just wait until you see me winning. And I'ma tell you from the jump, I just hope you listen. Homie, wait until you see me winning.
The Super Bowl's been set. It's going to be the Patriots and the Eagles. This is Cover 2 Sports. I'm Chase Hope.
I'm Tex Armstreet. May have blown some coverage last week.
Yeah, Tex was all over Blake Bortles. He calls him Beautiful Blake. But I will give you Tex. Blake did have a beautiful game.
And that's the thing, man. First of all, I blew 2 coverages because I also said the Vikings were going to win. But, you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. You blew coverages, dude. That's what we don't do around here.
I know. Look, man, I made a mistake, okay? But here's the thing, though.
No, but I also thought the Vikings were going to win.
I didn't think they were going to
And I thought Case the Kid was just going to have a monstrous game.
They scored on the first drive.
Marching down the field like it's nothing.
Yeah, they scored on the first drive and then just nothing.
Hey,
absolutely nothing.
Nick Foles looked like a real quarterback back there.
Yeah, and we're talking about it a little bit off the air. We'll talk about it next episode after that. Maybe the Browns make a play for him, give him a pick. Could you imagine the Eagles getting like a number 4 pick?
I mean, I don't think the Browns would give up one of their first rounders, but I could see them giving up a.
If Nick Foles, first of all, if Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl, I don't think he goes. See, that's the thing though. If Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl, that's a tough decision. I mean, obviously you stick with Carson Wentz, but what do you do with Foles? Do you keep him as a backup, or
do you keep him for a year, or do you do him a favor?
Yeah, do you go let him live? You know what I'm saying? And if this is the thing, if he wins the Super Bowl, the Browns might give up a number 4 pick for him.
I mean, I'd hope not. I mean, for the Browns'
I would love to see the Eagles pick up a number 4 pick after winning the Super Bowl. That'd be fantastic.
Crazy. And then another thing,
imagine them getting Saquon Barkley or somebody like that.
Yeah. I mean, they already got JJ and Blunt, but they add more fuel to the fire back there. But another interesting thing is, what are the Vikings going to do? All 3 quarterbacks are free agents, pretty much. I mean, are they going to re-sign Case? They going to re-sign Teddy, Sam Bradford? Do they throw the bank at Kirk Cousins?
No, Kirk Cousins out of the picture. Forget Kirk Cousins. My thing is, I think that you throw the bank at Case Keenum, then you sign Terry Bridgewater as his backup. If Terry Bridgewater wants to be a backup, I think you'd owe something to all those quarterbacks except for Sam Bradford. You don't owe anything to Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford's barely been able to be on the field since he's been in Minnesota. Case Keenum takes you all the way to a championship game. Terry Bridgewater was your quarterback of the future a couple years ago. That's who I'm going with. That's my main priorities.
I understand wanting to sign Case, but I also understand why they wouldn't. Because he hasn't been successful in the NFL except for this season with Pat Shurmur, who is the offensive coordinator, who's now the head coach of the Giants.
Maybe he goes to the Giants.
Maybe. But I can see why the Vikings wouldn't re-sign him, but the man that's going to know more than anything about that is going to be the head coach, Mike Zimmer. He's going to know if it was more of Case or if it's more of that system.
Well, yeah, and also...
So him and the GM's going to have to start talking.
I don't think you have a bad decision to make there, though.
No, I think you come out okay either way.
Either way. Because this thing, I don't think Sam Bradford's the guy, okay? But Terry Bridgewater or Case Keenum, I think they're fine.
Teddy. You know
what I'm saying? I think. Did I say Terry?
Yeah, you did. Whoops. I was trying to correct it without looking like it, but hey.
No, you're good. You're good. I think they're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be an interesting concept for the Eagles with Nick Foles. You know, because this is my thing. If this kid takes me all the way to Super Bowl, he's taking me to a Super Bowl. Even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, I got to do this kid a favor. I don't want this kid sitting back up all for the rest of his life behind Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
do
him a solid.
Carson Wentz is the guy. So, and with you got teams like Jacksonville, you got teams like New York, Cleveland,
Minnesota.
Heck, even maybe Indianapolis, because Jacoby Brissett. I don't think Jacoby Brissett is the guy.
And possibly, I mean, that's if Andrew Luck's not able to come back.
True.
And then possibly, I mean, even teams like Cincinnati that kind of, it feels like they're trying to move
Miami,
on from Andy Dalton, but they can't.
Cincinnati, Miami.
Yeah, because how's Tannehill going to come back and Jay Cutler? I mean, just cut your ties. Cut your ties.
So It's going to be interesting.
Arizona,
Redskins, if they don't get Cousins back, there's a lot of
this
need
this
for
off
quarterback.
season is going to be, I think, one of the better off seasons.
If you're a quarterback this offseason, you better get ready to. You got to make some room in your bank account.
And honestly, it can't come at a better time because I feel like this draft class coming out is really deep at quarterback. You have two solid prospects in Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen. You also have Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. And get this, at the Senior Bowl, one of the bigger draft analysts, Mike Mayock, said in Josh Allen he sees similarities to Dan Marino and John Elway, arguably two of the greatest to ever play the game.
You know, there's a big problem I have with certain comparisons when it comes to players. One of the biggest things that bothers me is when people compare quarterbacks to Russell Wilson. One of the biggest comparisons that Russell Wilson is getting now, like people that are being compared to him, is Baker Mayfield. I love Baker Mayfield, okay? Plays with the fire. Think he'll go to Cleveland with Saquon Barkley, turn the team around, whatever, okay? But you have to understand, Baker Mayfield is not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is the measuring stick, and Baker Mayfield can't even put the ruler in the dirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and another comparison for Baker has been Johnny Manziel. And I see it, but I think Baker's got a better head on his shoulders.
Yeah, I think Baker, well, the thing is, I think Baker has better people around him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think because if you look, when Johnny Manziel was doing all the stuff he's doing, he was never remorseful for it. He never apologized. He was just kind of like, this is the way I live my life. It's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield's like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. He knows what he's supposed to do, but when you're a kid who
you make mistakes.
Yeah, well, you just get thrown into the limelight. You know what I'm saying? When he when he had that little 5-second jog from the police and stuff like that. Yeah, I just don't.
And the DUI, but I mean, he's grown from it, moved on.
That's what I'm saying. People make mistakes all the time, and I don't think that something like making mistakes when you're a kid should take away from your chance to play in the National Football League.
And one other thing, before we've gotten a little off track talking about the draft. We'll get back to the Super Bowl, I promise. But another thing is, Josh Rosen came out several weeks ago and talked about how he'd rather go lower to the right team versus going to, the Browns. But Josh Allen said he would love to go to the Browns and be the guy to turn them around. And I think, honestly, that's what the Browns need, is to draft somebody they know that wants to be there.
Well, yeah, because, Deshaun Kaiser, he's there, but he's never just been, he's never been committal. You know what I'm saying? He's never been, he's got to be there because of his contract, but he's never just been okay, I want to be the guy.
Yeah.
So you say this, you get Saquon Barkley, which they should do, okay?
I think you take him one.
Yeah.
No questions
Saquon
asked.
Barkley, okay, you take him. Then you get you a quarterback, a young guy.
If you haven't fixed one in free agency, signed one.
Exactly. You get you a quarterback. And even this can even go along with the signing argument. Sign somebody who goes, I want to turn this team around. Don't get somebody that I want to play for this team.
Yeah.
No, you got to have somebody who's going to be compared with Gordon, Thomas on the offensive line, some of the other weapons that they have.
Corey Coleman.
Exactly.
The David Njoku.
Yeah, exactly. So those guys they already got.
I mean, they have a good foundation.
They just need it.
It's about building on.
They need to play callers what they need on the field. And so you got to fix that. Once you fix that, maybe you lead your team to a Super Bowl.
And honestly, if I'm the Browns, if I'm sitting there and I'm interviewing, I'm talking to Cousins or whatever, I'll tell them. Or anybody I talk to, I'll say, listen, we got a guy that's going to come in. He's going to be a rookie in the draft that we can draft that knows that wants to be here.
Do you think they actually draft a quarterback though, since they drafted Kaiser so high last year? I don't think he's got much trade bait. He had 15 turnovers.
Yeah.
It was 10 to 15 turnovers in the red zone.
I didn't think he was good. I didn't think he was good at all. And in my opinion, if you don't address the quarterback position in free agency, you have to draft him.
I mean, this is my thing. I don't think they make it out of this draft without a quarterback. This draft or free agency without a quarterback. And so, with that being said, I don't know if Deshaun Kaiser is the answer. Okay, I don't know if Deshaun Kaiser is what should be the answer for Cleveland. I don't think he's the guy who can come in and take over a game and, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? So they've got to – I don't know what they do with him. I don't know if they trade him. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But they've got to do something because they want to be up there with the Eagles and with the Patriots and with people like that. If they want to get over the hump and just win a game, they've got to do better. You know what I mean?
I completely agree.
And so, it's just – and especially like you said with the market for quarterbacks this year, there's no way that you cannot address that position at all. You have to be able to upgrade it.
Because either way, they're guaranteed to be able to upgrade that position. So why settle?
Yep.
Why would you settle with Deshaun Kaiser?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand why they took Kaiser. I mean, he's sitting there in the second round where many people thought he was going somewhere in the first.
Yeah.
So I understand you take him, but I think he would be a solid backup. Let him develop a little bit more behind the guy, whoever it is you think's the guy, and you get him.
Yep.
Because then eventually, you can either move on from him. If he sits there and he's learning besides, say they did sign Kirk Cousins, you think he wouldn't benefit from learning behind Kirk Cousins? Eventually, he'll be worth something in a trade.
Yeah. And I think really you got to kind of follow, maybe not pull it off like San Francisco did, but follow San Francisco's model where they had Smith playing quarterback and he was really good quarterback. And then you got
Smith could be available.
You know what I'm saying? But you got Kaepernick behind him, and Kaepernick came in, took him to a Super Bowl, stuff like that. Did he take him to 2 or just 1?
1, I believe.
Okay, so he made it to a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Against the Ravens. It was the Harbaugh Bowl.
Yep, Blackout Bowl. And so, just know, because you can't be in an Eagles and Patriots position without a quarterback. You just can't. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think there's ever been a team that's won a Super Bowl without more than a league average quarterback.
Trent Dilfer, was he average? I don't know. I mean, that's for people to decide.
Yeah,
but he's the.
But I'm saying there's not a.
I feel like he's the exception.
That's
not
what
the rule.
There would be an outlier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's never been like a consistency to win Super Bowls without a great play caller.
Yeah.
At the helm.
And honestly, I mean, I feel like Alex Smith's a good quarterback, but he's really not great. And I feel like that's the main reason. Unfortunately, he hasn't got a Super Bowl, but he's solid, and he's what you look for.
Yep. I think it's the same. He's kind of, for now, he's kind of falling under that Nick Foles type of,
he's obviously had a better career than Foles, but I see where you're going.
Like Nick Foles is really good, but he hasn't always gotten his due, so maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but, now he's getting his time to shine.
Yep, February 4th, our birthday, Super Bowl Sunday, Nick Foles has the chance to put his name in the record books and to show everybody, hey, I belong to be here.
I'm tired of seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I'm putting all my chips on the Eagles.
I'm hoping for a great game, but I'd like to see Nick Foles get that ring. Tom Brady's got 5 of them already.
I want to see Nick Foles.
I think.
I want to see Nick. He's got 5.
5.
I want to see Nick Foles.
Going for 6.
2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Down by 6 points. I want to see Nick Foles pull a Tom Brady, drive down the field, win the game. That's what I want to see. I want to see a game so close that every bettor in Vegas is having to change outfits because they're sweating so dang much. That's what I want to see. I want to see like a 27-24 game until the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? I want to see something real close to where they're either going back and forth or they get some stops and the next team gets some stops. I want to see because a lot of people are saying this is going to be a really boring Super Bowl.
I don't think so.
Highly disagree.
The Eagles, this Eagles defense is good. I mean, they're one of the better defenses, and Tom Brady's going to be under pressure. I feel like all night long because that defensive pass rush, pass rush that D line for the Eagles have, they're going to get after you.
Yep.
I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're going to get after you. They're going to try to make Tom Brady force some throws, rush some balls, and honestly, Tom Brady's one of the best to ever do it. He's going to know what to do, but everybody makes a mistake. And
a little funny caveat about the little funny fact about that came out today about this Super Bowl. Fletcher Cox, right?
Fletcher Cox.
So, people are always like when players make it to the Super Bowl.
He's one of those big guys on defense for Eagles.
And so, like when you come to the Super Bowl, people are like, "Oh, what's your favorite Super Bowl memory? What do you?" Fletcher Cox has never watched a single Super Bowl in his life.
I don't believe him.
I can't.
I don't believe him. What kind of football guy has never watched a Super Bowl?
But, he could be one of those guys that just never.
He could be.
Because you get guys all the time. Football was never like something. It seemed like a job to them. They play football because that's the way they feed their families, not because they love the game or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the reason I don't believe it is because what kid grows up playing a sport and doesn't want to watch it on TV?
Okay, but what if he was a baseball guy?
I mean, I'm not saying he didn't. It's hard for me to
call
believe.
him Fletcher Cox a liar?
I mean, the shoe fits.
Fletcher Cox, if you ever hear this, we got somebody calling you. I believe in you, buddy. I believe in you. But it's just one of those things that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Got Tom Brady with the cut on his hand. Fletcher Cox never seen a Super Bowl. Technically, would he technically see this Super Bowl if he's playing in it? Like,
I mean, he might see You know,
I mean, he would have the memories.
He might see himself putting Brady on his back, maybe, or maybe he's getting pancaked on the O-line.
I would love to see nothing more but Tom Brady lose a Super Bowl. Period.
He's lost 2 to Eli.
No, I'm saying like to a different team.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I thought the biggest reason I thought that the Jags were going to beat them is because Tom Coughlin is his kryptonite, and Tom Coughlin was down there, in Jacksonville, and so I thought that
a lot of people are saying this is going to be a boring Super Bowl, but I think
ratings are going to be down.
I think it's going to be the opposite because the ratings are going to be down, but you have 2 of the biggest markets. Philadelphia is a big market.
You got Mike Trout. You're crossing sports right now. Mike Trout is arguably one of the best baseball players to ever play the game, and he's bringing all of his baseball fans and making them pay attention to the Super Bowl because he's such a diehard Eagles fan.
Yeah, and the Eagles. I mean, good storylines. The Eagles haven't won a Super Bowl since. I mean, not a Super Bowl, but even a championship since the 1960s.
Yep.
They played in the Super Bowl in 2004. Did not go their way.
No.
At all.
And also people think because ticket sales are so cheap, but what they're not taking into account, the reason why the Super Bowl tickets are so cheap, because Viking fans were buying them because it's in their stadium. Mm-hmm. They were like, all right, bet, if we're going to the Super Bowl, I got to get a ticket.
I mean, every Vikings fan thought they were winning that game.
And that's what I'm saying. And so did I.
The
Vikings were like, I got to get a ticket because if my team's going to the Super Bowl, going to be the first one to play in their home stadium, I got to go. And now they're selling them cheap because they're just trying to make any type of money back. You know,
and my thing is I mean, honestly, to me, they're still not cheap.
No,
I mean,
I'm not going
cheap
to no Super Bowl.
Cheap for a Super Bowl.
You know
I guess.
what I'm saying? I'm not going to no Super Bowl. You know, I can't. It's kind of just absurd that people would think that it's going to be a boring game. You know, I just can't really. I don't think any of those teams that were going to make it would have made it a boring Super Bowl. You know, and it's just. Sports have to, like, I don't think you're going to have a big game in any sport where it's not dynamic, where it's not fun to watch, where it's not, you know what I'm saying? You got guys who come here, Tom Brady, Nick Foles, Fletcher Cox, Jay Ajayi. These guys live for the big moment. They all want to, some of them maybe not care about, like, being great players, but they want to win. You know, and if you consistently win throughout your career, you're going to build a legacy. You know, and you're going to be like some of these guys today, 4 of them, got elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame?
And all the ballots still aren't counted.
But, hey, they're saying they've already got the percentage.
And of those 4, as you said, which we'll go into this a little more later, is Chipper Jones, my guy. That's my dude.
Trash.
Oh, God. Here we go. Vladimir Guerrero, Jim Thome, and Trevor Hoffman. And, honestly, a bunch of guys coming up on the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, Tom Brady's obviously already there. They're going to have, like, for instance, Nick Foles. Whether he's ever going to make the Hall of Fame, I highly doubt it. But not many people can say they won a Super Bowl. Yep. Hell, not many people can say they played in the Super Bowl. Much less even in an NFL game.
A lot of people can't even say they've been to a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
It all trickles down, and I don't know. It just upsets me a little bit when people say that it's going to be a boring game or that whatever, because it's not. If you've been watching football this year, this is, even though the rating, because people always talk about how bad the ratings have been this year, but like I feel like this has been one of the most exciting football seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the Patriots weren't in it, but still, this has been one of the most exciting football. You had Carson Wentz, you had Deshaun Watson, you had Antonio Brown, you had DeAndre Hopkins, you had Le'Veon Bell. You had all these dynamic superstars, and they were taking over the league, and people just think it's a boring league now or whatever, you know, and I just don't understand. I don't think people watch sports enough to really get it.
What's your prediction for the Super Bowl? Not only who do you think is going to win, but score?
That's a tough question.
You want me to go first?
Yes.
All right, so unfortunately, I'm still going to go with Tom. I mean, I'm just thinking with my brain. I think he's going to win this Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. And I'm going to say it's going to come down to a last-minute field goal. Tom Brady gets saved by the kicker again. I think it's going to be 31-28. That's what I think. I think it's going to be a great game, and it's just going to be so heart-crushing for Eagles and their fans.
31-27 Eagles.
31-27 Eagles.
Yep.
Eagles.
Yep. I think because Mike Trout, let me look it up real quick. Mike Trout, he's a big Super Bowl fan, and he said that the Eagles were going to win as well, obviously. But he predicted a lot of pain for Tom Brady as well during the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people are like, stick to baseball, yada, 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 do whatever. But he remembered watching the Super Bowl a decade ago when they played these Patriots, and they lost by 3, 24-21. You know what I mean? And so I think Mike Trout knows a lot, and he called that the Eagles were going to win 31-24. And he said, "What do you think the decisive play is going to be? Like, what do you think is going to define the Super Bowl?" And you know what he said? Tom Brady's going to get picked off.
Wow. That would be...
He did give him his due, though. He said it was going to be tough. He said that he, going against Tom Brady is the best and maybe the greatest of all time, which I'm not so sure I agree with. But he gave him his due, but he still said he was going to lose. Do you think Tom Brady's the greatest of all time?
Personally, I don't think you can deny it anymore.
I think he's the greatest. I think he's the most accomplished quarterback of all time. I don't think he's because here's the thing.
Who's greater though?
As a quarterback?
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers. In the league right now, Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Does he have the resume? Does he have the resume? Here's my thing.
I'm talking all time. I'm talking about all time.
No, I'm just saying I'm using the fact that there's somebody in the league that is a better quarterback. He may not win as many games as Tom does, but you have to also Tom is also a product of his environment. Would Tom Brady have 5 Super Bowl rings if he played anywhere else? No.
Of course not. But would Aaron Rodgers have his one if he played somewhere else? Who knows? We'll never know.
But that's what I'm saying. He won with a team that was not like.
But see, the argument is before Brady, the Patriots weren't what they are today.
Yeah, but Bill Belichick was also starting out. You know what I'm saying? Like Bill Belichick, because this is my thing. If you put Aaron Rodgers in Tom Brady's spot, does he have 5 Super Bowl rings? Yes.
I don't know.
But I'm saying I'm saying the fact that you can't.
But you can't knock a player. You can't knock a guy for the system they're in.
I'm doing it, and
But you're making no damn sense.
Yes, I'm saying that if Tom Brady was not if Tom Brady played somewhere else, we would not be having this conversation.
How do you know?
Tom Brady is a great quarterback.
Yes.
Tom Brady will be a Hall of Famer, no doubt. Tom Brady has 5 rings, no doubt.
And he plays with a chip on his shoulder every day because he was drafted 199th overall.
Tom Brady is not the best quarterback the game has ever seen.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
I hate Tom Brady, but I can admit it.
He is not the best. He is the most accomplished quarterback the game has ever seen.
Okay.
He is not the best quarterback.
Who is? It's not Aaron Rodgers.
Of all time? I don't know of all time, but it's not Tom Brady.
Yes, it is.
No, he's won the most because of the team he's had around him.
Team he's had around him, that is bull. That is BS. That's BS because they're signing guys. The Patriots are known for signing guys like Chris Hogan, Julian Edelman, getting guys like that. Wes Welker. Who was he before the Patriots? Who was Chris Hogan before the Patriots? The Patriots. Before the Patriots. Who was Wes Welker? Who was Julian Edelman before the Patriots? The Patriots have a way of developing.
So
is that Tom Brady?
Is Tom Brady developing those players?
No, of course not.
Okay, then.
But don't say the team around him because Chris Hogan was nothing on the Bills.
Yeah, he was nothing. But when he comes to the Patriots and he gets under Bill Belichick's regime,
and that's Tom Brady's fault.
No, what I'm saying is when they come to the Patriots. Okay?
That's like knocking Joe Montana for having Jerry Rice.
Don't act like he ain't never had nobody. Randy Moss, Dante Hightower on defense.
I'm not saying he hasn't had nobody. I ain't saying that, but
he's the most accomplished quarterback, no doubt. He is not the best quarterback to ever put a jersey on.
Yes, he is.
He does not even have the best skill set of a quarterback to ever put a uniform on.
I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't have the best skill set. Is he the best runner? No. Is he the most? Is he the most accurate passer? No. Does he have the strongest arm?
Prove my argument. You just proved my argument.
He gets the job done. That's all that matters.
Okay.
Your argument doesn't matter.
Peyton Manning got the job done in the Super Bowl. Does that make him the greatest quarterback to ever live?
No. Because he couldn't consistently beat Brady.
You just said Brady was not the best runner. You said he was not the best thrower. So, therefore, that does not make him the best quarterback.
Yes, it does, because he's the one that's putting in the results.
So, Jim Thome hit 600-plus home runs. So, he's the best hitter to ever. Barry Bonds he has the home run record, so he's the best hitter to ever.
No, he used steroids.
Okay, Pete Rose has the most hits to ever, so he's the best hitter ever.
Arguably, yes.
Arguably, yes, whatever.
But he has over 4,000 hits. He's the best pure hitter. The best power hitter the game's ever seen so far, in my opinion. Pure power is Hank Aaron.
So would you say, Pete Rose played outfield, so you say he's the best outfielder to ever live?
No.
Exactly.
But you can't compare.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I
you can't
can.
compare baseball to football, because baseball, there's different aspects. Football, there's different aspects. A quarterback's job is to go win games. An outfielder's job, he has a position in the field, and he has to come up and bat. Pete Rose is one of the best, is, in my opinion, the best hitter of all time. He's not. That doesn't mean he's the best outfielder. I mean, that's like me saying, well, David Ortiz was one hell of a DH. So that means he was the best first baseman the Boston Red Sox have ever had.
That's a different position.
But he's a good hitter, so he has to be a good in the field.
Okay, so Tom Brady is the winningest quarterback, okay?
He's the best.
No, he's not. He's not. He wasn't even the best playing it some of these times.
Am I going to have to tell everybody to send more resumes in,
Yes,
bro?
because you're not understanding. Tom Brady is the most winningest quarterback, and he is the most accomplished quarterback, but he is not the best quarterback.
He is the greatest of all time,
said he can't. He's not the best thrower. He's not the best runner.
But that doesn't knock you from being the best, because he gets the job done. He's done it more than Montana. He's done it more than Elway. More than Marino couldn't. Hell, Marino couldn't even get one.
Oh my God.
He couldn't even get one.
So just because somebody doesn't win a Super Bowl, they're not.
Yes. You gotta be able to win the big game. You gotta be able to get there. You can't blame your other team. You can't blame, well, he never had a guy. He is the guy.
So you're saying to win games is, so you're saying, who's this? I don't even know who this guy is. Fran Tarkenton.
You don't know who Fran Tarkenton is?
Yes.
Oh my God. For the Minnesota Vikings.
Number 9. Okay. So you're gonna tell me he's number 9 on the list, so he's the number 9 quarterback of all time because he won games?
He's a top 10 quarterback, yes.
All right, I'll give
just
you
because you don't know who he is, I mean, you need to check your facts.
I haven't been watching football my whole life, okay?
Okay.
But I'm just saying, Tom Brady's not the best quarterback to ever live, period. End of discussion.
You want me to give you my top 5 quarterbacks?
No, I don't, because I don't care, because you just said Tom Brady was number 1. I don't care.
I'm giving them to you. You're going to have Tom Brady at 1, Joe Montana at 2, Peyton Manning at 3, Drew Brees at 4, and Dan Marino at 5.
So you're going to... Did you say John Elway?
No, I didn't.
You didn't say Brett Favre?
No, I didn't. I said Tom Brady at 1, Joe Montana at 2, Peyton Manning at 3, then you're going to have Drew Brees, and then Dan Marino as my top 5 personally, because Drew Brees is one of 3 quarterbacks to have over 70,000 yards. I've got him at 4, and he's won a Super Bowl. He's broke the passing record for a season. I have Dan Marino at 5 because he set the standard. He was doing it before it was a pass-happy league. And there's no denying Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, and Tom Brady.
What about Johnny Unitas?
He's top 10, top 15 all time.
Oh my God. All right, can we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, so let's
I'm tired of people saying that Tom Brady is the best quarterback to ever live.
All right. Well, before we move on, let me say this. Tom Brady's the best quarterback to ever live. So we're going to move on to the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame ballots that were announced. And as we said earlier in the podcast,
Tom Brady's not the greatest.
Tom Brady's the best. But as we said earlier in the podcast, the guys who were elected in today include Chipper Jones, Vladimir Guerrero, Jim Thome, and Trevor Hoffman. That is one hell of a Hall of Fame class.
Yeah, man, four guys. Like we've been deprived. You know, we got 2 or 3 guys over the last couple of years, every now and again. All of those guys are well deserving to be in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I think a couple more guys should have been on there.
Edgar Martinez was close. Yeah. I know that was a big guy for you.
Edgar Martinez is one of the best hitters to ever live, I feel like. I think he's going to get in by his 10th year.
Mike Messina was close as well.
He started to dip down, but yeah, Mike Messina is going to get in next year, the year after that. I don't doubt that at all. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens are eventually going to get in.
I've got a question for you though.
Okay.
Because it really came up when the kid King Griffey was coming in.
Yep.
And then it was also brought up a little bit this year with Chipper.
And
obviously not as much.
Years ago with Nolan Ryan.
Yes. Are we ever going to have 100% unanimous vote?
Mike Trout.
But I don't think we ever will, because that doesn't mean I don't think people deserve it.
I'm saying, what I'm saying is, if Mike Trout doesn't get it, if Mike Trout continues to be what he is.
Yeah, and he doesn't get it, then there never will be.
Because I don't think there ever will be after the kid. But if Mike Trout doesn't get it, then there will never, ever be a 100%.
Because, and I understand why, as far as from if I'm a voter, because it's kind of like I could vote to keep somebody on the ballot or possibly get them in when you know somebody else is already getting in. But
I don't feel like you should do that, though. I feel like
you should vote for who you truly believe.
Now, I have a question. Speaking about the Hall of Fame, there's a guy that's going to be coming up for the Hall of Fame pretty soon. Think Derek Jeter's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, not necessarily. No, I mean, Derek Jeter is he's a great player to ever play, one of the greatest to ever play. But his stats, if you honestly separate Derek Jeter and you just look at stats on a piece of paper, I don't know if you look at those stats and say, "Oh, first ballot Hall of Famer."
Well, I think he falls under like another guy that was on the ballot was Omar Vizquel. I think he falls under that. Like, he was a very great guy, was a winner, benefited a team winning, and was a very great defensively. And it's arguably whether he was like an all-time great defensively. But I feel like he gets in because of what he brought to New York.
And because his name.
Yeah, exactly.
And because of the World Series. And I feel like, Derek Jeter is one of those guys that's really marketed himself well.
Yeah.
Especially coming through the league. And honestly.
He played in New York and he never had a scandal.
Yeah. And especially when he was in his prime, if you thought shortstop, you instantly thought Derek Jeter. Number two.
Yeah. And I think he's influenced a generation. Troy Tulowitzki, all these shortstops like Carlos Correa, and guys like that are coming up.
And then you have them defensive studs like Andrelton Simmons out for the Angels.
Yep.
And I think he is one of the more influential players baseball
for sure. And that's why I think.
But his stats aren't.
Yeah, because I think he gets on. I think he gets on based on how he played and how he carried himself, and then the contribution he made to the game.
Yeah, and like you said, the fact there was never a scandal, he's never in any trouble.
Yep.
But here's my question, because it's went up consistently ever since they're on the ballot.
About 7% every year.
Do Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens eventually get in? They were hovering about 65% for a majority of this ballot. Do they ever get in?
Yes, they do. Because I believe both of those guys.
Because this was both their sixth time on the ballot.
What makes me mad about both of those guys is the fact that they would have been Hall of Famers without steroids.
Yeah, and they
Barry
chose
Barry Bonds had like 3 MVPs with Pittsburgh.
Now I think they eventually get in mainly because I think the writers are kind of starting to see. There wasn't a rule at that time, but for guys like A-Rod, when he comes up, instantly no, because it was in place. He knew what he was doing, and I don't think A-Rod will ever get a shot at getting in. But, and I hate to seem like a double standard or contradict myself, but I feel like Bonds and Clemens they both have to get in. They both deserve to be in regardless. But I think what hurts Bonds more than anything is the fact that he blatantly lied about it over and over.
Well,
on a few different occasions.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Barry Bonds ever failed the test.
He failed 3. He's failed 3 tests.
Are you sure?
Yes. And my thing is what about McGuire? He never lied about it.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I got you.
He said.
He failed an amphetamine test for other stuff, for illegal drugs that weren't necessarily PEDs. Now, am I saying he never used PEDs? Of course not. Okay. But
obviously, if you look at him with the Pirates and look at him with the Giants, it's not normal for your head to grow like that.
Well, yeah, and exactly. And so, the thing is he had, like I said, he had 3 MVPs with Pittsburgh. Okay?
I mean,
he won in 1990, 92, and 93.
He was a surefire Hall of Famer regardless. So why do you start?
And like I understand why he wanted to become more of a home run guy because he felt like he wasn't getting the attention he deserved.
I understand that,
but still, no, I agree with you. But still, it's just I don't know. I just don't know if I would have done it. But I think he's a Hall of Famer.
But one reason, honestly, I mean, this is going to sound crazy. One reason I think he's a Hall of Famer is I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to it. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure he's the only guy to ever be intentionally walked with the bases loaded.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've never seen that other than that time.
Yeah. It's when you are so scared of a player that you're going to give up a run because you think he's going to put 4 on the board, you can't really argue that. And so yeah. I feel like if they would have not been good or they would have been average before and then exploded afterwards, of course, no Hall of Fame. But these guys deserve because like Sammy Sosa, for instance, he's a little bit more of an interesting case. Okay. Sammy Sosa didn't play as long as good as these two guys did, so he's a little bit more of an interesting case, you know. And so I don't think Sammy Sosa gets in, not because of his steroid use, just because he wasn't Roger Clemens. He didn't win 7 Cy Youngs. He wasn't the Rocket, and he didn't win 7 MVPs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he wasn't because. There are clear-cut points in history where Barry Bonds is the greatest hitter in baseball. There are clear-cut points where Roger Clemens is the best pitcher in baseball, as you see where there's 7 Cy Youngs and 7 MVPs. There were the clear-cut guys. You know what I mean? And Sammy Sosa was never that guy.
And another thing that's really caught me was Manny Ramirez, second time on the ballot, got over 20%.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
He was one of the best natural talents, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer either, honestly. And another thing is because he got caught several times on a few different occasions.
He was just a terrible attitude.
Yeah,
you know.
But who, in your mind, because this will help lead us into our next topic. In your mind, who would you say is the biggest snub on this ballot?
You know, there's quite a few. I'm gonna say my man Edgar because I feel like Edgar's getting hurt a little bit with the fact that he's a DH, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, you look ahead to David Ortiz, he's going to go in the Hall of Fame. If he doesn't, it's absolute ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Mike Mussina deserves to be in there, but I think above all else that, I mean, maybe even Curt Schilling, but my biggest guy is Edgar Martinez.
Yeah.
Period. Like, one of the best hitters to be there, you know what I'm saying? There's a couple other guys like who are on the ballot, but something that really surprises me is some of these guys like Scott Rowland. Like, I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I think he's just not gonna make it because
he's overshadowed.
Yeah, you know, he's been overshadowed by guys like Chipper and stuff like that. And Larry Walker's an interesting guy to watch. He's on the ballot. He's an interesting guy to watch. But there's a bunch of guys on the list, but my biggest one is Edgar Martinez.
Yeah, and I agree with you about Edgar. And you touched on Mike Mussina a little bit. I think he gets in. And obviously I think Barry and Roger eventually gets in. But a big snub in my mind is Fred McGriff. About 20% on the ballot.
Yep.
But honestly, if you look at his stats, in my opinion, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
Retired. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, he retired with 493 homers. Almost 500. I wish he'd played another year and got him. He retired with 2,490 hits. Could have got 2,500 plus 26 if he played another year. And over 1,500 RBIs. 1,550 RBIs.
I think
with a career 284 average.
I don't think he gets in on his 10 years, but I think the association writes him in the right
eventually.
Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like he's deserving because Mad Dog McGriff was. I mean, granted, I was younger.
Yeah.
But he was always fun to watch.
Yeah, he was.
But I also agree with your points about Edgar and Mussina. They both deserve. Curt Schilling,
there's a lot,
in my mind, deserves.
I feel like
eventually.
That's the problem is the fact that there's so many guys that deserve it and you have so few votes.
Yeah.
Maybe people would stop wasting their votes then. Guys would, because this is the
thing.
But
maybe that's why we'll never have the unanimous.
But here's the thing, though. If people stop wasting their votes and they really vote for who they wanted to vote for, then those people would get in quicker. Because if people think that Mike Mussina, because here's the thing, Mike Mussina is not going to get in this year. What if a lot of guys are like, oh, other people are going to vote for him, so he goes to 70%, because that 5% was like, oh, we're going to vote for other people. They voted for him, he goes in, he comes off the ballot, that spot's cleared up for next year.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
But then again, I don't trust a lot of people to make a lot of sports decisions because a lot of times there's a lot of big decisions that are made that just aren't handled properly. You know what I mean? And some of the biggest news to come out of the sports world, besides, you know, LeBron James getting 30K points and, you know, stuff like that, these snubs, man.
The NBA All-Star Game, man.
These snubs. It's like a sawed-off shotgun.
Yes,
They're
dude.
so short. And, like, do you have the rosters pulled up for the games?
Yeah, I sure do. You want me to name all of them?
I got you. So, because you remember, they're not doing the teams this year.
You name the starters, and I'll name the reserves.
All right, cool. So, we got the starters from the West: Steph Curry, James Harden, Kevin Durant, AD, DeMarcus Cousins. From the East, Kyrie Irving, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid.
All right, so for the reserves, we've got, and I'm not going to separate in conference. Texas is better than me, a little more organized. For the reserves, we have LaMarcus Aldridge, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Al Horford, Damian Lillard, Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, and Kristaps Porzingis.
Yep.
And a lot of these guys deserve, but there are several snubs, not stubs, in my mind, that speak out to me. And a lot of people's name Chris Paul. I don't think so because of how many games he's missed, but he's definitely deserving.
Yeah, I could see when it comes to Chris Paul, I could really see the argument both ways because the fact that he's been there and he's played at a high level, okay?
Yeah.
And he's missed 17 games, but that's not super huge when it comes to the grand scheme of things. I still think he deserves to be there, but I can understand why people would say he was.
And other guys you've got Lou Williams, Paul George, Andre Drummond, Ben Simmons, and Kemba Walker are my biggest snubs. And honestly, the biggest one in my mind is Lou Williams.
Lou Williams is playing that man.
And Andre Drummond's a big one too.
Get him a jersey in the All-Star game.
I think you should replace. I think Lou Williams should replace Victor Oladipo. Because Victor Oladipo has 24.2 points per game, 3.9 assists, and 5.2 rebounds. Lou Williams is averaging 23.3 points, 5.1 assists. He's shooting 41% from behind the arc. And he scored 30-plus 14 times with once scoring over 50.
The difference is Victor Oladipo is making his team better. Lou Williams is balling out on the Clippers, and the Clippers still ain't doing much. The Pacers are winning ball games.
Okay, then you replace Kyle Lowry with Lou Williams. Kyle Lowry's only averaging 17 points, 6.7 assists, and 6 rebounds. I mean, I'm not saying Kyle Lowry isn't deserving. And
I could see that. I could see that Oladipo or Kyle Lowry gets replaced.
Or, honestly, get Klay Thompson off of here. Get him gone, dude. I don't care if he plays for the damn Warriors or not. Him and Draymond Green are not deserving over some of these. Klay Thompson, 20.6 points per game, 2.5 assists, and 4 rebounds. Lou Williams is obviously better.
Well, and when it comes to Draymond,
Paul George is obviously having a better year.
Well, and here's the thing about one of my biggest snubs besides Ben. My biggest snub is Ben Simmons. Period. Okay. But
there's a bigger one.
Andre Drummond.
Yes.
That man is averaging 15 rebounds. He's averaging a double-double.
He's leading the league and averaging 14 points, 1.2 blocks, and 1.5 steals. And you have Al Horford, 13.3 points, 5.3 assists, 7.7 rebounds. Them are not bad stats. But
when your man is averaging a whole, is doubling your rebound total a game.
Yes.
You can't. I just listen.
Even Draymond doesn't deserve it.
Al Horford's on the team is doing great. The Celtics, I think, are going to be in the Eastern Conference champs. Okay, but Andre Drummond is almost averaging 15, and 15, and he's not on the All-Star team.
That's like Kevin Love with the Timberwolves before going to the Cavs, man.
Oh my goodness! It just doesn't. I don't understand how you miss this. How do you miss it? Even Ben Simmons. As a rookie, not technically a rookie, but, as a rookie.
Well, I mean, technically he's a rookie because he can still win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. He's been there. He's had time, whatever. Okay. But his first year playing, 16.3 points, 7.2 assists, and 7.9 rebounds. This man is averaging 16.
And he's so versatile.
7 and almost 8 rebounds.
He's a forward and with a point guard's abilities.
The only thing this man doesn't have is a jump shot.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all he doesn't have.
And he can build on that.
But you're telling me a man, a rookie, a kid at 21.
He should. I mean, Andre Drummond should have got in over Horford.
Ben
Simmons should have got in over Draymond.
Or Kyle Lowry.
Yes, or Kyle Lowry.
Lou Williams should have got in over Clay.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No, you blew coverage last week, but I mean, typically we don't blow coverages, but the NBA, man,
they blew a hot coverage.
I mean, it's kind of like other than Oladipo, to me, it kind of seems like, well, it's all about the name. It's not about actually what you're putting on the court.
I'll tell you what, that man Oladipo said, y'all think I'm a mistake getting traded for Paul George? I'll show you what's up. You know, but it's just, I just don't understand how. Oh, a little tidbit. Sorry about this information. I forgot. Any of the sports gamblers out there, if you guys like to gamble.
Oh, this is big.
They're making a push. The NBA's making a push.
To help legalize.
Yeah, to help legalize gambling. I think a lot of other sports are going to come into. They're saying as long as they get 1% of all bets made, they're okay with it becoming legal. They're giving their benefit on there so that it will become legal. Just a little tidbit.
Yeah, and honestly, that's helpful because that helps the league make money, but it also helps other people make money. Unless you suck at gambling, you'll lose money. I mean, you got to be smart with it.
I'm 100% at gambling. I don't gamble, so I never lost. But yeah, I figured I'd throw that in there for you guys. But it blows my mind. Andre Drummond has to be one of the biggest all-star snubs in recent memory.
And Lou Williams.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, Andre Drummond does this consistently. Lou Williams has kind of been on and off. But like I said, Lou Williams does deserve to be an all-star. But this man is averaging almost 15-15. Chase Hoke. 15-15.
Tex Armstreet.
That's not my real name.
Brendan Armstreet.
Don't use my government, please. 15-15, man. 15.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to not have the guy on there.
And then, like I said, 16, 7, and 8. Lou Will. Let's see, what was Lou Will again?
Lou Will's 23.3,
5.1%. Even Chris Paul. Okay, even Chris Paul.
He's almost averaging a double-double. Yeah. 19.1 points, 8.9 assists, and almost 6 rebounds.
As a
point guard.
He's got 2 steals and 6 rebounds a game almost as a point guard. I don't understand, guys. I just don't get it. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix the snubs.
Get better, NBA. Get better.
But you gotta stop blowing coverage. You got to.
And with that, man, we'll talk to you guys next week. And don't worry, we're not blowing it.
Tom Brady's not the greatest quarterback ever.
Yes, he is.